Hello, people. My name is Samantha Krebs.
And I'm Kira Bean.
And welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Today we're talking about Al Capone, or Alphonse Gabriel Capone, who, if you don't know, was a mobster in the 1920s. He killed a lot of people, so we're going to talk about basically his childhood, his middle age life, and how he died.
Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born to Italian immigrant parents in Brooklyn, New York on January 17, 1899. Alphonse was the fourth of 9 children and attended school until he was in 6th grade.
At the age of 14, Al Capone dropped out. He was held back a year because his attendance and performance started to slip, and he started playing hooky. And one day, he was hit by his teacher for insolence, and he done hit back. The principal done beat him. And then he never showed back to school.
Soon after, the Capones moved to a better house on the outskirts of the Park Slope neighborhood in Brooklyn. Capone would meet his future wife, Mary, and Johnny Torrio.
After getting kicked out of school, Alphonse worked various jobs to support his family. Candy store clerk, he was a bowling alley pin boy, a laborer in an ammunition plant, and a cutter and a bookbindery.
While all this was happening, he was serving as the South Brooklyn Rippers and the 40 Thieves Juniors, 2 kid gangs. These groups are delinquent children known for vandalism and petty crimes, and they were pretty common in New York at the time.
It was at this point that Al met Torrio. Torrio had been running some numbers and a gambling operation near Capone's home when Al started running some small errands for him. Even after Torrio moved to Chicago, the two of them still stayed close.
At 16, Alphonse became a 5 Points gang member and started serving the aspiring mobster Frankie Yale as a bartender in Yale's Barclay Salon, the Harvard Inn. It was here that Al would earn the nickname Scarface after he made an indecent comment on a woman and her brother punched Capone and then slashed him across the face.
Later on, Capone shot the winner of a neighborhood game to death and robbed him of his winnings. Despite being questioned, Capone was let go because no one had witnessed the murder. In another incident, Capone brutally assaulted a low-level member of the rival White Hand Gang and left him for dead. Since the White Hand Gang leaders promised retribution, Yale sent Capone, his wife, and his young children to Chicago to work for Torrio.
Got braids in her hair. His wife, son, mother, younger brothers, and sister moved to Chicago, and Capone bought a modest house on the middle-class South Side.
An election in 1923 produced a mayor that wanted to rid the city of Chicago of corruption, making Torrio and Capone move their base beyond city limits into Sierra so they could continue their work. However, a mayoral election in 1924 threatened their operations. Torrio and Capone initiated an intimidation effort on the day of the election so their candidate would win. They even went as far as shooting and killing voters. This ended in Capone's brother Frank being brutally gunned down in the street by police.
After being injured by an attempted assassination, Torrio retires, leading Capone to become the leader of a mob gang, also known as the Capone Mob. Over the next few years, Capone would go on to build some fearsome and brutally violent reputation.
In early 1929, Capone dominated the illegal liquor trade in Chicago. Other racketeers competed for a piece of the profit. Among them was Capone's long-term rival, Bugs Morin. Morin had previously tried to assassinate Capone and his top hitman, Jack McGurn. They had decided to kill Morin on February 14, 1929. Dressed as a policeman, McGurn's gunman assassinated 7 of Morin's men in a North Side garage. Though, because he had been alerted, Morin was able to escape the murder attempt. Capone had been in Miami during this time, but the public still believed that he had been the cause. Because of this, he was dubbed Public Enemy #1.
In response to the public opinion over St. Valentine's Day massacre, President Hoover ordered the federal government to get Capone on income tax evasion. The Supreme Court in 1927 had said that the income made on the illegal activities was still taxable, but pretty much shows that Capone
Baby girl, you are so pretty.
So that pretty much shows Capone wasn't paying taxes for years. This gave the government a strong case for prosecuting Capone. On June 5th, 1931, the government finally got Capone on 22 counts of income tax evasion.
Even though the government had evidence against him, Capone's ego remained confident, thinking he would get off with a minimal sentence. He struck a plea bargain in return for a 2.5-year sentence. When the judge declared that he would not honor the agreement, Capone withdrew his guilty plea and the case went to trial. During the trial, Capone used bribery and intimidation towards the jury to side with him, but at the last moment, the judge switched to a new jury. Capone was found guilty and sent to prison for 11 years.
Capone spent 2 years in federal prison in Atlanta before he was caught bribing the guards. He was moved and sent to an island prison in Alcatraz. Capone was separated from the outside world and was trapped. Capone was becoming ill from syphilis that he contracted as a bouncer. He never got treated, and Capone developed dementia, and after 6.5 years, he was released to a mental hospital in Baltimore, where he stayed for 3 years. His health rapidly declined, and Capone lived out his last days in Miami with his wife. He died of cardiac arrest on January 25th, 1947.
Capone died being both loved and hated by the public. Thank you for watching. Bye! Gambling operation.
That's awkward.
Where
Indecent.
Grammarly, get out of here! Grammarly! And some good swigging. Well,